Welcome to our TST Dialogues, where we'll be talking about different issues that affect our Southern African region. And we're here still in Kenya, Nairobi, where the PAN is still ongoing. And today we're going to be talking about taxation and fourth industrialization. And I am joined here with digitalization expert, Winnie. Winnie, welcome to our dialogue.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, you are welcome. Winnie, can you tell us the issue of taxation in the fourth industrialization era? How should African countries tackle it, considering that in our ICT era, our African countries, we want to move towards the fourth industrialization? What impact does it have on us in terms of taxation and revenue earning in our African region?
Well, the march towards the fourth industrial revolution has many implications. It's going to change the way we work, it's going to change the way we do business, and it's going to change fundamentally society. So existing taxation laws of many countries will need to be revised. Simply because a lot of things will change. An example is that with the fourth industrial revolution, what you're going to have is the proliferation of machine learning, robotics, artificial intelligence. You've heard about drones, which are forms of these applications that are as a result of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, things that used to be manned by humans will be manned by robotics. And therefore, those kinds of jobs might disappear. So that automatically means that revenue from taxes from those jobs will not exist. However, it's going to create new forms of jobs, and therefore, in a way, it's going to compensate because new jobs will be created which will give revenue to our tax administrators as a result. However, what needs to be done is that tax administrations need to be able to look at that, to look at the opportunities as well as the threats, and develop strategies that will support the resource mobilization strategies from taxation.
Issues of going to in the fourth industrialization, we understand that us as Africans, we have our own, we are at a stage where we are still learning and we are moving towards that. In your opinion, do you think we should learn from the developed countries which are already there in terms of the approach on taxation, and how best can governments create revenue out of these industrialization era?
Yes, there's no harm in learning what other countries are doing, but ultimately you have to understand that the European countries and America, North America, they're far more advanced. I mean, these are technologically advanced countries, and therefore whatever policies or strategies they devise for taxation in the fourth industrial revolution will be completely different from us in Africa. And that's why it's important for governments to study this and to understand what that means. For instance, these societies have reached a period in their lives where it's all about innovation and how they create new things. They do new things in different ways. Through all these applications that are coming up. We, on the other hand, are beginning to grapple with these new applications. We're beginning to understand its impact on the health sector, on agriculture, and therefore it will be foolhardy on our part just to copy them. The European Union, for instance, is developing a VAT tax on digital transactions. that might be something that we have to do. But the European Union has been studying this for the past 3 years and is set to go to announce these taxes in 2020. My question is, how have we studied this in our own circumstances? Because the European Union did it for the European countries. Where and who is going to do it for African countries to say, you know, a VAT tax on digital activities in Malawi might not be the best way to go for that country, but maybe South Africa, because South Africa technologically is far more advanced. It's online businesses and e-commerce activities are far more advanced, and therefore that might be a way that we tax. Malawi, if it did that, could deter the development of online activities and online transactions if it went straight in and slapped a VAT tax. It could also be that there might be a 5% VAT tax in the case of South Africa for online activities, but Malawi could say, okay, we have to nurture this area, and therefore we will put a 1% tax. So these are all the permutations that African countries need to begin a conversation on, because if they don't, what's going to happen is that tax administrators are going to have a shrinking resource base, and they're not going to be able to take advantage of this emerging digital economy, which has promise, but it also has its own perils.
Okay, well, just to round up, in this conference, this issue of taxation in the digital economy has been covered on a wide range of issues that are affecting the area of discussion. So, in your opinion, what is like your take-home message to the African countries, the policymakers, the implementers, and those who are into research? What is your take-home for them? What do you urge them to do to ensure that we also don't lose too much on revenue that we should be getting on the digital platforms?
I think tax administrations should begin to maybe look into their own research that will enable them to understand what the implications of the digital economy means for them. So basically what the risks are, so that they can mitigate those risks. What the opportunities are for taxation, they can begin to look at this and analyze it. The second is that tax administrations should also be able to appreciate that in the new economy, the digital economy, and the new dispensation of the fourth industrial revolution, there's a lot of emphasis on intangible assets. And that's their starting point. They have to quantify and define what those intangible assets are within their domain, within their nations, within their countries. And one of those underlining intangible assets is data. They have to be able to have the ability to do data analytics. They have to be able to have the ability to say, we need to be able to monetize data within our transactions within our countries. And what does those transactions, that monetization process, what does that mean? In order for them to generate more revenue, in order for them, but increasingly data is becoming a monetized commodity and a very important aspect and facet of the digital economy. And therefore, these are the new frontiers that tax revenue authorities should be able to get their heads around.
Well, that will be all. Thank you so much for your time, Aida. And guys, if you're watching and you want to know more about taxation in the digital economy, feel free to email me at Sharon@southerntimesafrica.com. And